I like to believe that I'm a positive kind of guy, that I look on the bright side of things, and I also believe that as a professional, you should present everything as objectively as you can and not dwell too much on the high positives or the low negatives, because it's simply not all that healthy. So when something underperforms, when something doesn't live up to the hype, my default, my go-to is that I'm missing something. What am I missing? What haven't I checked? Did I try this? Did I try that? I go as far as to ask my veteran friends, hey, take a look at this. It's not performing very well. What am I missing? What can we do to improve the performance? But you know what, my friends? Sometimes, just sometimes, there's simply nothing there to be had. So today we're gonna deviate from the usual format a little bit. In case you're a newer player and you came across my vid because usually I do new player friendly approach, this is not, I repeat, a weapon for you. Put it down, back off, link in the cards right now for a full guide on a weapon which is worth your time and will perform very well. Not this one, okay? Now this weapon, my friends, is for the veteran which is bored and has nothing else to do. But take my word for it, it's not worth much more than its mastery points. And since we got all of that out of the way, if you wanna stick around and see how the weapon actually performs and what it's all about, well, as always, my name is Leyzar, and this is the Alternox. Let me begin by showcasing the functionality of the weapon. The Alternox has two fire modes. In primary fire mode, this is an automatic rifle that kinda sounds and feels like a shotgun. This is a projectile-based attack with a very little, if any, drop-off whatsoever, so you can treat this one as a metal slug with basically no drop-off. You do need to lead your targets a little bit, so do bear that one in mind. Now the magazine is solid and the reload is decent at 1.8 seconds, 28 shots in a magazine. And the secondary fire will be consuming 4 shots. The secondary fire is this plasma ball. The plasma ball will be dealing damage upon impact. After the initial impact, it will pulsate 10 times with damage. And on the 11th pulse, it creates this big bada boom explosion. So again, you got 3 sources of damage. 1, projectile physically making contact with a target. Then the pulses, 1 at a time. 10 pulses, and on the 11th pulse, after a 10-second delay, you're gonna be getting that big bada boom explosion. That one. Now you can trigger the explosion early if you press the secondary fire mode one more time. While midair or on a target, it doesn't really matter. And yes, you can stick this onto bubbles. For example, the Frost Eximus bubble. So do bear that one in mind. From a usability perspective, I can't really fault the weapon. Honestly, it feels good in actual gameplay. Very thumpy, the sound is fantastic, and the looks are subjectively cool. I mean, look at this bloody thing. It looks like something out of a spacey sci-fi game, of all things, so I definitely love the way it looks. I cannot fault the aesthetics. Even the reload animation is special. Did you guys catch that? No other weapon reloads like that, which is absolutely fantastic. And might I point out the fact that Gyre's dash animation, probably the best in Warframe. The problem is, the niceties kinda end there. Let's have a look at stats to see exactly what we're dealing with. Do not put a catalyst in this weapon, stop it, it's not worth it. When it comes to polarities, it comes with 2 polarities. It comes with a V symbol Madurai in this slot right here, and 1 in the weapon's Excella slot. Do not unlock the Excella slot, do not unlock the empty arcane slot, it's not worth it for the weapon. You should just level it up and then forget about it. The accuracy is good, not that it matters too much for the secondary fire mode. On primary fire mode, as you saw there, 18.2 is more than enough. The fire rate 4.3, good. Magazine is good. Reload 1.8 seconds is good. I want to explain the multi-shot. You will see multi-shot 1.2 here and here as well. This is because I'm using the weapon with Gyre, and Gyre will offer a slight buff to the weapon, 20% multi-shot. Now bear in mind, this does not mean it modifies the base multi-shot value of the weapon to 1.2. It simply is like having a 20% invisible mod. Allow me to demonstrate. With Vigilante Armaments, it goes to 1.8 multi-shot. If the base was modified, it would have gone higher than that, since Vigilante Armaments adds 60% multi-shot. Noise alarming, reload 1 point, like I said, solid, pretty quick. Riven disposition of only 1 out of 5. This is baffling to me. This is a weak weapon. There's no question about it. This is a utility weapon at best, and we'll get more into that later. Why didn't anybody go like, hey, you know what? The Alternox is not exactly a very powerful weapon. Why not release it with a Riven dispo of 3 out of 5? Hey, so to give it a fighting chance and all whatnot. Nope. Definitely not. Critical chance 14%. It's low, but it's workable. You can work with this one. 2.2x critical multiplier. When it comes to the multiplier, it is definitely above average. If you are to add critical delay to this one, you're going to be going to 42%, which is decent. If you need to build hunter munitions on this thing as well, you will be able to, and you will be getting enough slashes with 42%. Status is high, 30%. Damage is electricity by default, which is fantastic. It's an elemental default on the weapon. That means you gotta treat it as the very last element on your weapon. Keep in mind that elemental combos 2x2, top left, bottom right. Active. What is active? Now the active represents the secondary fire mode, the accuracy, the fire rate, the magazine, basically everything. When it comes to the damage though, this is where things get a little bit tricky. Critical chance 2%. So the balls the balls have less critical chance, only 2%, and the critical multiplier is decent at 2.0x. Status chance super high, 44%, and you got impact, puncture, slash, and electricity. The impact, puncture, and slash, these are the physical types, yes? And they only apply to the ball making physical contact with a target, not to the explosion, not to the pulses. The explosion damage is down here. The pulse damage, I believe, is here. This electricity is the pulse damage, and this right here is the explosion damage. Honestly, it's not really all that clear from the weapon stat screen. Let's talk about damage fall off on the weapon. It states 60%. When the weapon was released and we were testing it, it showed 0%. And we thought, you know what, that must be just a graphical glitch, and it definitely doesn't have only 0% drop off. But it did. Oh, it did. We tested it in the simulacrum, and the actual explosion, not the pulses, the explosion had 0% damage drop off, much like the Tenon Tetra on release. And much like the Tenon Tetra on release, it got nerfed and had a 60% damage fall off, completely ruining whatever power the weapon had to begin with. Electricity damage by default. Now, my friends, we're gonna try out a build for it. How do you build a weapon like this without any outside buffs? You can build crit on it if you rely on bonus critical chance effects such as Arcane Avenger, Gavad buff, or Lord Harrow. Initially, we're gonna go without critical chance. Some of you may believe the weapon is better suited to build status and raw damage on it. So I'm gonna step on my pride. I'm even gonna equip a Bane mod, Bane of the Corrupted. We have Galvanized Chamber. We're gonna be using Merciless instead of Deadhead simply because we're not gonna be going for headshots. We're gonna try to get the most out of that secondary fire mode. And you also got free 60/60 mods on the weapon. High Voltage and Malignant Force together will be forming corrosive damage. I cannot equip only one because, well, then I'm not going to be able to make corrosive and heat on the weapon because of the default electricity damage the weapon has. And we also have Thermite rounds. So we got corrosive heat on the weapon. More multi-shot. On a weapon that doesn't have crit, this is your go-to, no questions about it. And we also got Firestorm, which will increase the radius of the explosion and the pulse to a whopping 10 meters. This is the first build we're going to be testing out to see how the weapon performs, and then we're going to change a few things here and there. We're even going to try the old Vital Slash. I just want you to get a feel for the weapon. First of all, the secondary fire mode. We can let it pulse, and yes, the explosion will cause you to get a little bit louder. It does nothing. This is corrosive. This is corrosive against ferrite armor, and it basically does nothing. Nada, zilch. I can empty the entire magazine. Nothing much will happen. That means the primary fire mode works, right? Well, did you see I have serration on it? So we have a little bit of flat damage too. Still nothing. You know what? Oh, I got a kill. Good. I got my galvanized stacks up. Here we go. Oh, but I can't kill a target fast enough to keep stacking my primary arcane. Now can I? I can. Primary Merciless is actually gonna run out by the time I manage to kill another target. Switch the 90 mods? Yeah, you can switch the 90 mods if you wish. Trust me, it won't make one lick of difference when it comes to the performance of it. Alright, I hear what you're saying. Dude, this is not the way to go, clearly. Going for status and raw damage was not the way to go. Alright, fine. Vital Slash? Let's talk about what mods would benefit a weapon such as this, outside of multi-shot. Yes, so obviously multi-shot is the way to go. Prime Firestorm is an utility mod. A faction mod is definitely the way to go in the case of a weapon such as this, which we do have, Bane of the Corrupted. Galvanized Aptitude. Does this work on the weapon? Yes and no. It does function very well for the primary fire mode. It does not function whatsoever for the secondary fire mode. You still get the 80% status chance, but you do not get the direct damage, the extra damage on the explosion or the pulse. Bear that one in mind. This one will only benefit primary fire mode. You can keep on stacking a whole lot of 60-60 mods. This is the one use I found for the weapon, and it's a very, very sad and disappointing use. You can stack elementals and simply make it into a primer weapon, because as a primer weapon, it can do the job absolutely fine. You got big range on that pulse, and it keeps applying statuses to your target. You put one ball down, it keeps applying statuses to everybody, and you mindless E. Monkey spam E. This is Warframe. This monkey spam E without no aiming, no care whatsoever is enough to get you the truly hardest content that Warframe has to offer. And by the way, my awesome looking sight, the brand new one, is completely unmodded. Beautiful. This is a use for the weapon. While it may be a subjectively sad use, you can use it as a primer weapon, so you don't call it a mastery fodder weapon. But let's say Viral Slash can save it. Very well, let's go Viral and Slash. To get Viral on the weapon, we're gonna have to combine Toxin and Cold. Like so. No need for Thermite rounds anymore. We're gonna have to go for Hunter Munitions. Why don't we replace Firestorm? Yes, we're gonna go like so. We're gonna keep our flat damage. We're giving the weapon every single chance it has at winning, because when it comes to low level targets up until level 200, flat damage is still the way to go until you can actually really realistically keep rolling into your Galvanized Chamber and your primary Merciless, which also offers flat damage. And we're gonna need some crit. Mama, give some crit. Critical delay, bro. Look at all that crit. But hey, what is crit without critical damage? Oh no, we are gonna need some critical damage too, because without the multiplier is basically kinda pointless. So we're gonna drop Vigilante Armaments and we're gonna go with Vital Sense. Critical chance 42%, critical multiplier 4.8. We're gonna test the weapon out like so. AoE ball, not gonna make much of a difference, because the AoE does not really have critical chances, 2%, and even with 200% is what, 60%, 6% now. Primary fire mode is gonna work a bit better though. A bit. Vital Slash, yay! Hey, Vital Slash! It got it! It got it. This is the performance of it. It is beyond disappointing. I'm not even gonna showcase this in Steel Path because it would be a bad comedy show. This is only a weapon to be used as a primer, and that's it. If you were looking for a primary weapon to use successfully as a primer, if you didn't have enough ways to prime your targets for monkey spam, then you have one more way to do that. And take my word for it, you can build this weapon any which way you want, it would still suck. That said, I'm hoping for a buff. Maybe the developer forgot to check the performance of the weapon, or maybe they will add some damage, some critical chance, some anything to it, but you know what? I won't hold my breath. Let's take it one step further. Let's go with some Warframe buffs, shall we? And when we go with Warframe buffs, we go big. I'm gonna Dirty Mirage Prime's hands with this weapon. It's a good thing that it's beautiful. We're gonna go like so. Mirage Prime is going to be equipped with the following buffs. You got yourself your Corrosive Projection. We're going to be using Arcane Avenger for the critical chance we talked about earlier. So realistically now we are getting some nice crit on the weapon, even for that secondary fire mode, even for the big bubble explosion. As for Arcane Acceleration, no thank you. We're actually going to be going with Rage, even more flat damage. I just wanted to kill things. Please kill things. Thank you. More flat damage. You can use a Sentinel trick, any Sentinel you want, just make sure that on that Sentinel's weapon you have the 4 Vigilante mods, Offense, Supplies, Fervor, and Armaments for the 20% chance to enhance critical hits for primary weapons. I'm gonna take it one step further. We're gonna activate Madurai, brand new focus tree. You can see all the talents here. Phoenix Talents is active. Yeah, Phoenix Talents will actually skew your test results, just so you know, but it only applies to physical damage. Pay attention, yes, physical damage. That means only the IPSs, not the elementals, so do bear that one in mind. And this test is not going to make a huge difference unless, of course, I use the operator to buff myself even further. I'm gonna be unpausing the target so they can hit me and I can get my buffs. There we go. And now the Alternox should realistically be able to kill something. Alright. Use even the operator, is that what you guys saying? There we go. I'm buffing myself even with the operator. Attaboy, Alternox. Not a one-shot. Not a rough one-shot, but here you go. Alternox killing things. Do you have any... Those of you that follow my content for a while, you are aware of the level of these buffs. The damage multiplication because of Mirage is absolutely sky high, and even like this, it's barely killing those targets. It should annihilate everything that stands before it. And it doesn't. There are two weapons in this game that broke me. One is the Stug, and this is the second. My friends, the Alternox is a primary weapon in Warframe. It's a weapon that I do not recommend, and one more time I would like to make it clear, I think it's a crying shame because the weapon not only looks incredibly cool, it also feels right, feels nice to actually play. Too bad it doesn't have one lick of power. As always, my name has been Leyzar. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope the content has been useful to you, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye!